pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hope you didn't. It'd be kind of heavy to pull out.
You want to get a picture of the plaque now? Before you
Sure.
Or you want to finish your cake first?
That's okay.
Very hard.
Slow it down.
Probably what I should have got it.
You got me that way.
Pretty good.
Did you feel this spot?
It will work for me.
Thanks, all right.
Okay, so minutes for February 23rd, or February 3rd, sorry.
I move we approve those minutes. A second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Committee reports for the week.
I attended the Multnomah County Health meeting last night, and even though Eric hasn't been officially appointed by the governor to fill my position, I took him along so he'd be orientated as to what kind of a committee and crowd he would get into, see if he had second thoughts. And he enjoyed it. It was a good meeting, and everything is. 3 years ago, when I first came on, as I told you guys, that organization was close to going broke because of overstaffing issues, bad CEO. And second meeting I attended, we relieved 5 people of their jobs and we turned the thing around, and we're making about $15,000 clear, about $15,000 a month. So it's in very, very good shape now. The part-time CEO is doing a great job, and we're actually starting to have staff back, and the hospice is starting to gain even more. We're going to work with some local hospitals to help see if they can't refer some of theirs to our hospice, but overall, we're in good shape. But 3 years ago, we could have been almost broken, and we would have to take over our own health department instead of being in a combination of the pretty expensive. So
Okay, so we got Peggy.
I have a purchase order for a lift to replace one of our current lifts.
Everything's going.
Good. Thank you.
Matt?
I made a page here just to help you guys track the
grader bid a little bit, so we can write down some figures. That'll help you out a little bit. We put out requests for 2015 motor grader, and we received 2 bids, one from Foley and one from Murphy Tractor. This will open Foley's first. Foley, Cat. Well, Foley sent back the bids for them, but it says here they are not going to turn in a bid. That's surprising. Got anything to add to that, John?
I was asked to come here because Dean's at a required meeting today, and I was asked to be here and take back any questions you guys might have for him.
This is actually,
I have a question, simple one, why didn't you bid?
At this time, at Full Equipment, we cannot offer a competitive bid for your motor grader. We do appreciate the opportunity and look forward to working with you in the future.
they did come up and inspect other machines, so I'm kind of surprised. My understanding they were going to turn one in.
Well, I see a big spot behind the pillar there.
Could I rebid, please?
No, you get to negotiate with that.
Well, we did put in a competitive bid. Whether they were here or not, it would have been competitive.
What are we trading in back?
The 2002
The Volvo?
Volvo, yes.
Yeah, ours were on
Right around 8,000. 2002 is the Volvo G720, approximately 8,000 hours. Murphy Tractor, Deere, Scott Williams turned in a bid for a John Deere 672 GP, which is the same machine that we got the last time.
Front wheel assist.
Yes. Yep.
And what is that, 672 GP, you said?
Yes. Purchase price delivered, looks like $242,575. Trade-in allowance for our 2002 Volvo is $21,500. And the guaranteed 5-year, $5,000 or 5,000 hour buyback is $158,500. So it looks like, with the trade-in, the total is $221,075.
I thought our used machine had a little bit more value to it.
Well, or,
13 years old.
Huh?
It is 13 years old.
I thought we talked about this used, that could be around 35.
the last time it was inspected, then the beginning of last year, I think, Foley offered us, $40,000 for it then. With the trade-in, the total price, and after the 5-year guaranteed buyback, is $62,575.
What is that amount, the 62?
Yeah, that's after you take the trade-in allowance off of the total price, and then after the guaranteed buyback, that's your end figure is $62,575.
So you divide that by 5 years, and that'd tell you what it's gonna cost you to.
Yeah. 12,515.
That makes it sound better.
Yeah.
Completely accurate, you have to add in the interest on all of the money, you should be paying that too.
Well, we didn't know if we were finance this or something.
True.
Either case, I guess you have to.
Well, I guess do my recommendation, I'll go with, the 602 GP.
And it meets all specs.
Is, well, there's no notation that it doesn't meet all specs, Scott?
Yes. Exceeds, actually.
Because we only had one bid turn in and solicit two, that clears us on any.
In your bid, Scott, are we required to trade in our Volvo on this bid, or is that an option?
Definitely an option. You had 2 months to decide. I mean, because,
It's good for 60 days.
well, if you choose to buy John Deere, and we ordered a machine, it would take 2 to 3 months. So if you decided to go another route with the trade-in, that's definitely no problem.
In the spec, it's rough for, it's good for 30 days, but.
One of the things that you might be aware of, and maybe not, but, Volvo made an announcement at the end of last year that they were gonna revamp the motor grader, Volvo motor grader, and move the manufacturing to China. And so now Volvo is very selective about bidding graders over here. And that probably soured the resale value of the Volvos. And they were asked to bid up in Doniphan County in December, and they didn't want to have to deal with future problems with parts and service, or parts availability when the machines are built in a communist country, so.
I think it's a no-brainer, we have 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, If we get some of our own, if we do better, great, if we can't, trade in.
Yeah, at least we can do a little research and.
Yeah, I thought the value would be a little bit more than that.
Well, your last mobile was 2 years ago, but when you get an announcement made of not so positive news, it kind of shakes the value of equipment.
You remember what, when the last one we did, the percentage guaranteed buyback, seemed like the percentage is higher than the last one. Has it changed very much, or?
A little bit.
I've got their bid
I know that those are just minimums, I know it can change, but those are, is that correct? Those are still just the guaranteed minimums that buyback?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, if the market, you know, behooves the value to be higher, then, you know, we will give more money for it at the time. And if the hours are below the 5,000 hours, I mean, it's kind of a minimum.
Yes, yes.
When we did the last grader, the total purchase price was $227,301, and the 5-year buyback was $164,337.
The 227 was the difference, or that was the?
That was the total purchase price. And then we traded in 2 other graders.
Right.
About 80%.
80%.
8 difference between, was that 2 years ago?
Almost 2 years ago.
Motion to take, and then take action on, figures that you're gonna take action on in a couple of weeks, or what you can do about the trade-in, because we don't even have the lease information, do we?
Well, those are to be opened here today.
Oh, that we got, okay.
Yeah, we,
Okay.
Was that 130 that they say out there?
Yeah, I didn't see on the agenda.
do you want to take action on purchasing the grader and then?
Yeah.
I would just keep option out, try to sell it on our own. If we can do better, fine. If we can't, we pay the.
As long as that understanding is there, is either one of the 2 prices. If you can't stand, I mean, we'll either pay the full price and sell a grader on our own, or else we'll.
Correct, yeah. I mean, that's a real figure that's, you know, inflated.
Right,
As
yeah.
you can tell.
Right.
Like his
So if we
buyback.
need to call you
Buyback.
10 days from now and say, hey, we stole the grader. Will you
That's
get
a real
better
figure,
price?
unlike his buyback.
No,
Okay,
that could be the same.
don't cost that. Because I know you'd have a little bit of love built in there for trading value. I'm thinking.
One of the purchase price isn't contingent based on the trade-in, so, I mean, the purchase price still be the same, it's just.
It wouldn't behoove us to, mark up the new selling price and then bump up the trade-in, and, because it would make the dollar cost of ownership per year higher. So, I mean, those are real numbers on the trade and sell price.
Yeah.
You want me to, yeah, I move to go ahead and purchase the G672GP from Murphy Tractor with the agreement, the purchase price of $242,575 with the option within 30 days of using the trade-in value offered at $21,500 if we decide.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any further discussions?
Hopefully Caterpillar
Motion
can come
approved,
back.
3-0.
Caterpillar can come back in the game, so. I'm not saying that John Deere's bad, but I always
like to have two bids.
I'll take that, information back.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Nothing against deer or cat, either one, but I'd really like to get a cat in the fleet to put them head to head. Then we would know. Okay. What's the estimated delivery time, Scott?
Well, it could, the, maximum of 3 months, so it varies in between 2 and 3 months on, graders. Johnson County, we ordered theirs in the last week of December, and we're getting them in the last week of, November, or of February, so that's 2 months.
This machine here, a Eureka machine, correct?
What?
That Eureka machine?
Yes, and it's final Tier 4.
Tier 4 final, yeah.
I think about that falling, but on the 4 weeks from today to make final, make sure you have, action on it, execute the trade-in outright purchase or something.
Yeah, before the 30 days comes through.
Yeah, I'll give it
4 weeks from today, put on the agenda that when we make that decision. If not 4, 3, 4, maybe put it on the agenda for the next 2 meetings, or wait a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we can revisit it, we got any bids or.
Yeah, I'll give a Paul Rand.
All right, you take care of that, okay.
I'll make that plan.
When you feel you've exploited all avenues, then,
Right.
I have
You got the,
one is up just in case to order one. That's if you trade in the machine, but I would do another one with the serial number of the new machine. That's just a form for us to be able to order the machine. We'll come up with another one final first order when you decided what to do about the trade-in. And the serial number of the new machine.
sure.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your business again.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
You bet.
Hey, you got to be the whipping post today, right?
Yep, that's right. Sorry, I'm used to it.
Phil,
I am.
have you, Matt, did you remember we talked about, to get us in the same, what was it, 4 or 5 month extended warranty costs, so that we get that up and,
okay. I'll get with him and,
talk to him and try to see what,
Yeah.
because that would be, in order to get us back in sync,
right,
otherwise you're gonna be really off, so.
okay. All right, thank you.
I hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Connie, we did have it, no, we had public notice at 1:30, right?
I don't think I'm gonna have anyone here, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think I'll have anyone here. I had 4 bids delivered to me, 3 of them by hand, so.
I think we could probably open interest.
Kinda crammed in there.
We didn't have to publish
Is this
that.
all right, Scott?
Yeah, we didn't publish
I-
the interest rate for the.
We didn't publish, we don't have.
That is a
to
copy
publish,
there
but we did,
on-
we did give them a time that we would do it. So
Yeah,
we
no,
have-
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we have to wait till 1:30.
Yes.
Then we have to.
Well, then we have 2 things scheduled at 1:30.
But I'm fine if you're gonna do Matt's published, then, since they're both at 1:30, that's fine. So you said, Pat, they're both at 1:30?
I think so.
News to me, because they came up and they inspected the machine.
I might make a speculation, why they didn't, just my own. There could be some other bids coming out someplace, and they're probably trying to hold their cards. And they wanted to see the good results here. That's something I can think of. Yeah. Because I've never seen them do this before.
But if you wanted to do that, why would you just bid 20,000 higher or 40,000?
Exactly. And then you see the,
I think it looks worse with the other bids.
well,
Do that on their program, I think.
it's a battle, I know. Everyone's market share. Well, thank you very much. I wish there would have been another bid for you, but kept us honest.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you want me to stick around for a while? I know you're gonna open the bid from the banks and,
I think we're gonna do that here in about 2 minutes.
okay, I'll stick around.
How you doing?
Good.
I do have an annual report to present to you. We're going to do it since it's not pending any legal ramifications.
We need to figure your truck, what's the actual figure you're using?
For the dump truck, it's mandatory.
Yeah. Looks like it's got a little down.
157,785.
This is the annual report that I put together each February for Kansas Department of Agriculture, and they just made it in and noted what noxious weeds we have in the county. I put them in 10 different sections in the county, and judging from those 10, there's supposed to be kind of a random sampling of what noxious weeds might appear in the county. So that's called a survey. That information is in there. But all this is pulled from my CNC report. And I made 2 copies, I'm sorry. Should make 3 with that thing. This is just copies. I just need all 3 of your signatures on that.
Oh, just the one, the original? of that
Just the
one?
original, yeah. I'll just make a copy of that page, but that's just a compilation of, basically a compilation of all the, monthly reports that I do. And we don't have all the noxious weeds here in the county, so there's some zeros in there. Some of those are western Kansas issues.
Yeah, well, all of us will sign it, but entertain a motion to approve annual noxious weed eradication. Progress report 2014.
Second?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes.
good. Good job.
It's different transferring from the CIC, into the CIC program.
I like that, personally, I think that was easier, that's what it follow.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to read. It took a little bit to get everything
Oh,
to
yeah.
pull like it should have, but it pulled most of my financials, which is a nice thing. In the last,
It showed
3 years, I've had to plug those
budget.
numbers in. Yeah. There's a few numbers I had to plug in, like the mills and things like that, but.
When I can, CFC system with that, breaks out the whole, you see that?
Yeah, I had to plug in most of these, but then get down the system with that area and stuff, but it's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to go ahead and open interest bids first?
I have 3.
Okay.
Okay.
No one I'm actually looking at. The first one is Commerce Bank.
Which one?
Commerce Bank.
Remember, there were 3 different options that we gave.
Was the length of it the same, or are they putting
They were all 5 years.
a 5 year? Okay.
370,000 was 2.09%.
2 point what?
2.09%. For the annual payment of 78,703.77. Proposal 2, which was 225,000, same interest rate. Annual payment of 47,860.40. Proposal 3 was 160,000, the same interest rate. Annual payment of $34,034.06. Additional fees or expenses, the one-time $250 escrow setup fees. This fee is not applicable if an escrow is not required. Restrictions upon prepayment, they gave about a 5-page summary, which I haven't read. They're good until March 10th, 2016. And they do have a proposal, several pages, so obviously we don't know again.
Can that be paid off earlier before this?
Can't it what?
Be paid off sooner than 5 years from now? You gotta read it through.
I haven't read it.
It says 5 pages.
Alright.
It's, well, it may not be quite that long. It's like 2.5.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I did.
Have you normally solicited bids from banks outside of the county?
I think they responded to one that we published, which is,
I thought there was something where it was open to county banks first.
We always solicit local
Yeah.
banks. I mean, I don't know if in the past, they've responded, but I'm trying to think of when the last time we even had, Commerce respond, to be honest with you, so.
They didn't,
That contains-
they didn't earn the other one. It was Exchange and Bank of Atchison.
You know, you're gonna
Or you're gonna be.
Yeah,
yeah,
so.
we did that too.
Two,
Last
right.
year.
Morrill and James Bank. Option 1, 370,000. interest rate 3.89, 0%. They have something called rate factor, and I don't know what that is. 0.223933. You probably know what that is.
That might be a daily per diem. I'm not-
Annual payment's $82,855.37. For 225,000, 3.990%. With a annual payment of 50,526.90. After 360,000 was 4.330%. $36,274.18 payment. Bid good until February 24th. And then the last one is exchange. $370,000 at 2.40%. Annual payment of $79,416. Proposal 2 at 225 is 2.40%. Annual payment of $48,293. Proposal 3, 2.40%. Annual payment of $34,342. Bid good until April 15th. No additional fees or expenses, no restrictions upon prepayment. Of course, we've done business with Exchange on, I believe, 2 prior lease purchase agreements.
For what it's worth, they weren't the cheapest, but I'd personally like to see it stay within the county.
What was the
I think that's good business.
What was the difference in payments? The first one was what? Or the Commerce, what was that, what was the top? You're probably looking at the top payment. The
78,
annual payment.
78, 719, something like that. 77, something.
You're talking only about $1,000 difference.
Over the 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
78.
That's a no-brainer.
Okay. And what was the exchange?
I think where the figures come from, maybe where the 370 was going to, for a grader, dump truck, 225 was for the grader, and 160 was for the dump truck.
Yeah, and we would, of course, do any 3 of those.
And of course, without the trade-in for the grader, $242,575, and then $157,785 for the truck, we're right at $400,360.
Yeah, you got,
But you had some money.
you got capital, you could utilize, we can utilize that money, and then if you get the grader sold on the side, that either can come back in special machinery, or we can apply it to either one. So that's gonna be close enough. I think, to me, at that rate, it's pretty much a no-brainer to do a lease purchase, because cost of equipment's gonna go up way more than that. and we're only looking at $3,500 difference over 5 years. $700 a year difference in payments.
If we're ready, I'd entertain a motion to accept the bid from Exchange Bank
So,
of $370,000 at 2.40% interest.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any further discussions? Motion carried.
does that apply for us too?
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mark.
We really appreciate county's business.
We appreciate the opportunity to work with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We work with Larry. Oh, we used to have that.
I don't know.
It's now, Larry's helped us and we've had.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Mark. Do you have any cake before you left? Mike?
I haven't had lunch yet.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
They'll probably get you tickets to the Mayor Gerhart thing.
There you go. I don't expect, well, actually, I had a great time.
Well, it's not about, trying to benefit by getting more, other lending institutions, that's the outside area, but sometimes it's a nice check and balance.
It keeps the locals on their toes. I mean, he was surprised when he seen that.
Competitive's not always bad.
That's right.
That Congress passed this.
They do a lot of commercial, the past started up in community.
Fred? Okay, I have 4 bids.
This is not gonna take long.
Yeah, it's not taking, we're gonna be.
Anything you want to talk about now? I said, this is not
We
gonna take long.
we have to open the noxious weed bits and then we can.
No, I just hear you listen.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry,
I haven't
okay.
got any complaints, I'm good.
Okay, okay.
Thank
So
you.
far,
Bye, Greg.
see you guys. Thanks for lunch.
No problem.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Don't get lost up there up back east.
I won't, or try not to anyway.
The first bid is from CPS out of Colorado. And the way that I bid it is into 2 different delivery dates.
You have any kind of worksheet for
I don't, I'm sorry. I wasn't as good as
That
math.
does very nice, thank you.
I will do that next time.
Thank you.
I'll provide you with a blank one like this.
That would, yeah.
It didn't work out very good this time, but usually it does.
Go ahead.
Who is
Who was the first one? CPS,
You got your great, no surprise.
Charlie Paul Sam,
And Colorado.
Parker, Colorado, yep. And, I guess we could just look at the total bid. Does that work for you guys? We'll just look at the total bid package, and if we need to narrow it down, then we can start looking at,
Break it apart,
Break it apart.
if you bid it so they can break it apart too, we can, but
Yeah.
that'll be for you to kind of analyze for us as we go along. So what's the total bid?
total bid is $96,225.80. And Tordon, it looks like Tordon went up quite a bit more than what I was estimating on theirs, at least 51.50 a gallon on Tordon. So bidding 720 gallons of Tordon, that's almost 40,000 in Tordon alone. Next one is Spillman Fertilizer. What is it? Spillman?
Oh, Spillman.
Out of Muskogee. There's people on the phone saying
Muscatone.
Muscatone? What the girl said the other day, I don't know how to say that. Spillman's bid is $92,910.12. Tordon, $48.54. I'm looking at Tordon specifically, that's kind of a gauge for me because it's the biggest bulk of the budget. So, you can make up a lot or add up a lot right there. Next one is Red he did not bid for he excluded 220 gallons of 2,4-D amine in bulk. We used that for our own roadside spraying. He excluded that from the bid, and even excluding that, his bid is $94,845. They just may not be able to get that product. His Tordon was $47.98, so it was a little bit cheaper than Spillman by 56 cents cheaper. The final one is Helena. Helena does not have traditional 2,4-D, so I already know that this is going to be skewed in a way.
Is it more generic than is it, or what,
It's hardball. It's a different composition altogether.
Is it interchangeable, or, I mean, does the state accept that as?
Yes.
Okay.
Donovan County uses it exclusively on roadside spraying because it already has surfactant added, and because it has a drift agent already included. It's not as volatile as even amine. So, well, either way, his bid's 100. He said he bid it at a different rate than traditional 2,4-D. So he told me that he would bid it at a lower quantity. But even then, the bid still comes in at $100,000. So
Even?
$100,030.08. Even reducing the quantity of that on the hardball. But I would like to purchase some hardball at some point to try it and see. He said the counties in the surrounding area are Brown, Douglas, and Nemaha. Do you guys want to look at these?
Sorry, what page?
Most of them just have a top sheet, except for this last one, he had some. Yes, but the quantities were different. 2 years ago, we carried over 2 pallets of Tordon. So there was a significant amount of money that I didn't have to spend last year in 2014 because it had been spent in 2013. So I went back to 2013 numbers on the Tordon. But Tordon has went up since then. I think on that 2013 bid, it was lower 40s on what it cost.
You look through all these bids, they're all comparing apples to apples.
Helena's not, because it's a different product. And then Red River left out, the bulk on the 2,4-D. But if you compare CPS and Spillman, and those were our top 2 bidders last year too, our low 2 bidders, those are apples to apples. And that he was still, CPS was 3,000 over. 32.25.
Did you have any trouble with last year?
None at all.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we take the bids spells.
I'd second that.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Only discussion I have is, statutorily, I know you're ordering some different things, something like that. What are we required to do? Are we just doing it in a personal preference for people that are spraying? I mean, I'm looking at budget, I'm just getting, this is a little bit higher than what we anticipate, so we're gonna have to watch it pretty close as far as, I see we've got about 150 $109,650, that's just on overall commodities,
Yes.
so I'm just,
Yeah, and I do have a little bit of wiggle room,
Okay.
because I was pretty thrifty in 2014, so I'm gonna have not a huge amount of carryover, but there's a little bit of carryover. But I was hoping to build that all into capital outlays, but, you know, as we've talked about, so we could look at buying a spray truck very soon. Because that truck and the sprayer is from the 90s, and it's not going to last a whole lot longer, so we definitely want to build that in there. But yes, it's based on past use,
yeah.
and it's hard to determine what this season's gonna look like, because it all goes off of rainfall, you know, and those types of things. And it is personal preference as far as what farmers prefer to use.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, expectations of management, I mean, provide something, but we aren't gonna always be able to provide, I mean, I guess, I
It
don't
may be-
know if I'm saying that right, does
I-
that make sense? or
What I'm hearing you
trying
say,
to-
Jeff, is that when we're out, is probably what we're gonna have to go with.
Okay,
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And, I mean, sorry, on my budget, I spent my budget, but, I mean, I don't have any problem telling them that. That's what it comes down to, then that'll be what it comes down to. We're not gonna, yeah, we provide that service to them, but that doesn't mean that we have to have chemical there for them to spray if it exceeds our budget.
The last time you was up, you was talking about snakes, did you get that resolved?
So I talked to Matt about it, and we'll have to just implement that plan. And that's why I was almost wondering about maybe purchasing a little bit of the hardball, because it'll allow us to get some of those problem areas that George up in Nemaha County, he said he'll spray right up. He thinks he's probably getting a little too brave, but he said he will literally spray up next to it with a bead. So I think that may play I would like to just purchase a little and try having John spray some of it, because there are some places where, like on Highway 7, Robbie from the state called me last year and was complaining about these thistles. Well, I drove out there, thank you, and the right-of-way is like the width of this table. And there's a bean field right here, here's the highway, and there's thistles growing in this right-of-way. When there's beans right there, corn knife is about the only thing that's gonna take care of it. So, that's why I see a place for maybe purchasing some of this hardball in addition to some of these other chemicals, and trying to, because I think you could probably get, maybe not quite this narrow of a right-of-way, but in some fields, some rights of way where John and I have probably we've just been cautious about it, because I think when it comes down to it, people are gonna complain about thistles, but they're going to complain even more if you're killing their beans. So,
Down in my neighborhood, I got a guy that's growing grapes, and now he's planting walnut trees, I think, on county property, so he wants that, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's real close to county property, we're planting probably.
Yeah, there's several places, I think, around the county that has grapes, I think the state was
Sensitive
way
crop would be
behind.
better beyond sensitive crop.
we don't,
Yes.
up north, there's just
Do
north.
you get those updated lists from the state on sensitive crop lists?
I have to go out and get them. They
Yeah.
don't just,
I was at a conference about a month ago, and there was talk about legislation surfacing about 2,4-D restrictions. Just FYI, I heard that, so.
Douglas County is in our northeast district,
Yeah.
and Douglas County, of course, is, one of the most liberal counties in the state, and has a huge population of market growers. And so they are seeing a huge rush for outlawing 2,4-D in Douglas County, completely outlawing it, lawing it. So whether or not that's gonna happen, that's certainly on the table though. So that's a challenge that we do talk about with some of the other noxious weed directors, that it's possible. And grapes are so sensitive to 2,4-D. I mean, within, oh my gosh, they'll be calling their crop man. So, Yeah, let me know where those are, I'll put them on the map. I have a map that John
It'd
uses.
be 210th and River Road,
Okay.
just south of River Road.
That'd be
I didn't even know there was a.
Usually just goes north.
Woodson,
Woodson,
Woods,
yeah.
excuse me, Woods,
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
There's a.
But they're south of
The
210.
list,
Yeah, so-
maintained by the state accounting department.
Usually just goes
They go
north,
from
doesn't it?
Connie,
Basically, you,
from the county line north approximately three quarters of a mile. That's
people
what-
that maintain trees.
Is it that kind of house that's
kind of
down in that
down,
valley?
yeah.
They also
No,
give you a
no,
sign,
no.
they'll post a sign.
It's that two-story house on
near
Woods
there
Road.
that shows
Right.
about Drift,
I was
Drift
thinking,
Watch.
yeah. I'll go down from John.
Drift
I'll make
Watch is
sure it's on
another
there.
organization associated with,
I have a map that we kind of have some areas, and John uses that map when he sprays, and those have a few areas. There's one, family out around Lancaster that when Danny was the noxious weed director in spraying, I guess he sprayed some of their crops. And so they have an agreement that they'll maintain everything in that area.
there's one in Goodton.
Hmm?
There's one in Goodton that had that happen.
The grapes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had a complaint filed, against the farmers who live just to the south of those grapes. And the elderly lady who owns it, she called me and she said, what do I do? I can't spray 2,4-D. So she was really, put her in a tough place. But I told her I understood.
It's just drift, well, it's just,
You're
ain't
right.
drift. If you don't have low vol 2,4-D, it's gonna drift. I mean, it depends on what they're spraying with, and you've seen that.
Spray after dark, I didn't do that. Not me.
That never happened. So yes, we're gonna continue to work with the state. I'm gonna get him that estimate. I was kind of dragging my feet, waiting to kind of see how, I was waiting on this, on the chemical bid, so I could provide him a chemical estimate, and it's actual numbers, not estimates.
I will say something you're probably not gonna agree, and maybe you won't either. I have a hard time putting 100% of the savings over to capital improvements. To me, that is telling the departments, let's add a little bit to our budget.
This is statutory.
Yeah, but this is statutory, I know.
Mhm.
That's the only way they build up their capital.
I see, okay, well, then forget you, it's up to you.
Yeah.
See, they're,
I think so.
not just a separate enterprise. That's what
Yeah,
that's their-
outside the general fund, it's
Yeah.
statutorily we need to keep
Yeah,
this.
I'm 120, I have 124, my fund is 124, it's completely separate from
Yeah.
001.
Yes, fund 124.
They just flow numbers today.
You wanna know them? I know all.
Yeah, we have the amount here to transfer the capital outlay.
Yep.
46 something.
Yeah.
We can do that next year.
Yeah, and that was from
It's actually 2 years.
2 years, yeah, that's not
Because-
just this year.
Because
Yeah.
the year before.
Is that the same amount you had on there? I think you had in your, plan.
For what?
Your noxious weed plan, was that the same amount that you had listed?
No, she wouldn't have had this amount. This was
Okay.
just, let's just run this week. Once,
Oh, no, I had that, I mean, I ran it the other day for Wes, but. in
No,
the-
on your plan listed something to transfer to capital outlay, I just wanna make sure that number
That's
matched
just,
up. Or is it
on
just,
this one, yes. I just listed,
I think you said 49.
well, I imagine there could have been a little bit of expense coming in. There was one I seen 2 weeks prior to that, that was a 49. This is the most recent.
that, he just, yeah, we just ran that report the other day.
Yeah.
46, 287, 47.
Yeah, on this, I did not include the carryover in this. List, because it wasn't in there yet.
Okay.
So I put 0 on budgeted carryover from last year to this. This one has budgeted carryover to next year, which would be 2015.
Okay.
It's 49,215.55, and that should be about what that
That's
budget.
46, 287.
Okay.
Yeah, I seen a report somewhere that had 49, but it was an older one.
Okay, then that must have been what I saw too then, so.
Yeah, this was actually run by CEIC, so that should be close. Yeah, I would move that we have statutory, we move the, 46,287.47 on the fund 1.2 noxious weed capital outlay fund.
I second that.
And that is for that's actually 2 years of carryover.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any further discussions? 3-0.
Okay, just have a resolution for the chemical purchase, please.
Your report. Yeah, there should be like, I've seen those lists, the mess of those sunset crop. I was like shocked when I first saw it, but there's
Yeah,
a lot more than I ever imagined.
I know. I used to work for the Kansas Rural Center, and they're a sustainable ag organization, so it's kind of funny that on this
Well, like,
side it's good.
tree trimmers and like tons of people that maintain like roadways, all that
Right.
stuff, you gotta be careful with it.
Right, it goes along with that the do not drift campaign. Yep. When we know there's grapes somewhere, we just stay far, far away.
Nothing to do with that, for sure. Really, they should. Yeah.
I guess I just wanna know exactly what we're doing here. They've been holding our truck now for over a month for me, and he's getting pretty on.
Well, we just, we approved the, yeah, the interest rate of 3%, that would cover,
So,
yes.
if we can go ahead and, when
How
will
soon
the
do you-
funds be available?
How soon do you have to pay
Well, on delivery?
on delivery?
And you have that purchase order.
I sure do.
Is that now?
Just happened to have it.
Guess what I did, look at
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop in and see me, Mike.
Well, dude, I may probably, I think I've got to still do some spray and paint and all stuff, so I'll be.
What is
Don't
that?
wear that hat,
About to
right?
get-
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a 2015 Western Star 4700 dump truck with snowplow and salt spreader in the amount of $157,785 from Truck Center Companies out of Wichita. I believe this is on the state purchase plan, is that correct?
Yes.
You make sure you get that one, make sure we get the money, get the loan papers filled out, so we got money.
Right, yeah. Because I'll need a check on delivery, so I'll have to,
We need a motion to.
To approve it?
Yes.
I move that we approve this purchase of the 2015 Western Star, amount of $157,785, and that will be on the lease purchase agreement that we have stated.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any further discussions?
I look forward to seeing that in my chicken soup too.
Well, I think it's it's a sign of a commitment to try and replace equipment. We need to get into some sort of equipment replacement schedule, so we aren't running things into the ground. They have some pretty valuable use left to them, so it's not always the easiest choice, but.
let's see, the only day they can do a manual check is, on Tuesday, right, when Commissioner is here? Is that right?
Oh, we need to do a manual check, or?
Well,
Aren't they issuing pay this? I thought James said she was coming up with bills to be issued.
we haven't turned anything in yet, because I
I think
didn't.
pretty new, if they've already, printed, I think, the check, but they have payroll Friday.
Yeah, because didn't we stagger that, like we'd have week?
Are they gonna bring it up this week or will it be?
It's in Wichita, they'll bring it up whenever I call them, so it's just,
Well, I think
it's ready to be
we just need to make sure that,
Right.
It goes through Sheet Bank.
that the bank has the money deposited.
Well, I mean, he's talking, this is like a request for a, you know, for a separate manual check, but they should have checks going out.
Pat, would he be able to use the lease purchase money that we have in the other account until we get the other?
I'd probably keep that
Separate.
separate,
Separate?
just so we can track that stuff better, because that was gonna go towards ambulance and,
I just didn't know.
Ambulance
Use
equipment
it, maybe
monitors.
you could use it until you get your other one.
Yeah, I do, how long it'll take to get the, everything.
No, I would think it would take a terribly long time.
Okay.
Within a week or
Okay, so, I'll just turn this in, if we can't get it on Friday, then maybe do a manual check, possibly next Tuesday, or,
yeah, I mean, we'll have regular check scheduled to go out next, it needs to
I think
go
they do
out.
it every Friday.
Yeah, they should be doing it every Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
They do it every month, every Wednesday, the check.
Yeah, on a weekly basis, we have checks going out. To
Every
prevent-
week, we pay, accounts payables every week.
Yeah.
well, I'll talk to him, tell him, you know, I'll
I
tell
think-
him that
I think
first
you
order
can-
is fine, we'll like to put it like in a week or.
You need to keep with Pat when Pat gets the papers.
Right.
I agree with Mike, let's get the papers, you know, let's make sure that.
Do let me know as soon as.
I assume we can get the papers to them this week, or, I
We
mean,
need to get it from them. They
Okay.
gave us the contract that they want.
sure.
And I guess what we need to get to them is the list of what the collateral would be.
Well, there's two pieces.
Or the two
I
pieces of
think.
equipment, I would assume would be the full.
That's
But but we need something that they can look up the specs of what they are to figure out what they're worth. So,
Well, they're both brand new, you'd think, hopefully they're worth what we just.
That's why I told Mark, I told him that.
but
so he
man, I
already
don't
knows.
have anything that has those specs on it, I don't think, so.
I can get that
need
too.
that from you to get to that. This is what we're going to buy for a lease, this is what you're going to buy, and we're going to lease from them.
Does that assume, hopefully we'd have documentation back from them to sign next week?
I would think so.
Okay.
And we have one more year payment on that first one, and our ambulance is
Two,
two more payments.
16, I think they're paid off. See the name, it's 188.
Yeah. remember that.
I thought of something else, you guys want to discuss what we're gonna do, I mean, Tex ain't been back up here, but what's your approach on heart monitors? And then, I mean, they don't have a firm bid with this yet, but.
We haven't seen bids back on the ambulance.
Right. I'll put my 2 cents in, and you take it for what's worth. The price of those heart monitors and knowing where we eventually want to be, even if you have to dip in, because we're not going to have to use much capital. We're not gonna have to transfer all the amount that we thought for capital outlay. But I think even if an ambulance comes in at $175,000, that you could afford 2 heart monitors. Because that's one heck of a deal on those heart monitors. And they won't be buying them every year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree with the bid. I think we're gonna be okay when the bids come in from ambulance and those two. I think we'll be okay with that.
Yeah, well,
personally.
like I said, you may have to still pull out a little money out of capital outlay, but you shouldn't have to pull more than 20,000, I don't think. And that's not gonna break the bank.
Mhm.
You got $217,000 that we're paying interest on right now
Mhm.
for the other 2 ambulances, and that would be, not saying that, instead of 2 years, you got that on, so now you're gonna have 3 ambulances paid for, and 2 new heart monitors,
Mhm.
and you're in pretty darn good shape for at least 3 years. Unless Matt gets carried away at the end of the game. This is dark.
Do you have time to talk about another issue, or are you strapped for time?
Is it, like I think that's the last I seen on really on the agenda, that we gotta make a transfer.
Really depends on whether it's a problem that takes money or something.
Well,
Money.
then
Hey, hey.
I might as well leave. spoke to you briefly, earlier today, we were hoping to replace 2 bridges up on Pawnee, it's north of the State Lake, with a couple culverts. That process right now is at a standstill with DOVR. We're gonna have to do more engineering in order to get it done. I talked to Dave Beach yesterday, and he said to do the engineering on each bridge would be approximately $3,500 a bridge. And that is not guaranteeing we get a permit, but that's what it's gonna take to proceed at this point.
You're probably gonna have to, regardless of whether you use tubes or a bridge, it's probably gonna be a hydrology test that have to be done anyway, won't there?
Yeah.
Probably. What about, he talked last time about like in some solutions, they've used those concrete boxes. That would sort of be cheaper than a bridge.
Yeah, we talked about that.
He was using that for stuff, I mean.
Yeah, if it comes to that, that's something we might have to do,
Cheaper
but,
than culvert, but it's
culverts,
still
of course, the cheapest. Yeah.
I just know the state has used that in situations, you know, do that.
My only thing is if you pay $7,000 and they say you gotta put up a $250,000 bridges, we haven't got the money, do we just throw away $7,000?
No, because that money will be there when, if you ever get the money to do the bridge, you should, unless.
The preliminary the hydrology will already be done.
It'll be done.
Yeah.
How long is that good for, forever?
It should be good as long as there hasn't any topography,
Major
any
change, yeah.
change
Yeah.
in the geography, topography and all that stuff. It should be, I would think.
If you're talking a span of 15, 20 years,
That's
yeah, you
what's
may,
different,
you may wanna do another different hydrology, that should probably be good for at least several years, few years, 5 or less, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I had the impression that that the state people were gonna do a little looking on their own to see whether they could give you some predetermination, but apparently they're not gonna do anything.
Yeah, they sent me some numbers just to help out in our study, but nothing that would help.
Now, with a hydrology test, won't that reveal how many acres is draining there?
Yeah.
How do they judge? I assume that the water that's coming through that 7-foot tube, even though there's more acres draining through the state lake, that they don't count, that's not counted. I mean, that's counted as a conservation practices. So whatever amount of water comes through 7-foot tubes is the most they figure. Is that what I'm saying?
It does gain a little acreage as you go down the.
Well, yeah, as you go on, but at that point, they can only say this much volume of water is gonna come through this tube per se.
Well, yeah, unless it tops the spillway and it tops the road. But, yeah. I don't know if it's ever, to my knowledge, it's never went around the spillway, but,
We don't wanna interfere with the flow of the fish, I can tell you that.
and I did have it in the budget for some, engineering for the culvert replacement, so.
My next question would be, I know that we need to replace it, but what if we have a couple more surprises, we put that off, I guess, till Mr. Slitzbaum and Mr. Bell will have to accept that, thinking that, okay, we get this test, they're gonna know that, or we're gonna get our bridge, we're gonna get our tube.
Well, if something else big happens, we would just have to put off the project till, another year. But
Aren't those both fracture critical bridges? Neither one are.
the thing is, the first bridge after the culvert is the big bridge, and then the next one downstream is the small one, but there's,
I guess it depends on.
but the opening's bigger on the one upstream.
What the inspection shows in bad shape.
It doesn't show us in that bad shape, does it?
Yeah, the one bridge is a 7-ton bridge, and I think it's a 5 and 7-ton bridge. I mean, they're 4 bridges, they're down on, or I guess they're up on the list of either one.
Yeah, so if they're, if it's showing something that needs to be replaced, I mean.
Yeah, these are, they're 16-foot wide bridges, low, loads on it.
I guess to simplify my question or comment is, we have a criteria of what's more important, and now, can we justify doing this? And I'm not saying that I'm against it, but you can't tell one person, well, we got criteria, and, well, I asked for it before they asked for it, just because you asked for it when you were a kid.
What is,
Is that a bus route on those bridges, anything like that, dropping out?
that's what?
Is that a bus route on those bridges, bells and stuff on?
But I'm not for sure, busting out, that they're crossing.
Yeah.
If I can, I'm not sure they're crossing.
I don't think so.
My question would be,
Okay.
would Small Beat, would they have any kind of inclination as to what, once they do the hydrology test, what route we should go? Should we
Okay,
ask for a
I'll
special,
maybe,
should we ask for a special
Get all that
permit?
up when I get home.
Which I guess is what we're gonna do anyway.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do anyway.
But will they be able to give you an
Okay.
idea whether we
Okay,
can apply,
okay,
you're gonna say,
okay,
we wanna put
okay,
2 9-foot, or
bye,
8-foot, or 2 8-foots, or?
Well, I think they will, but at that point, the $3,500 is gonna be, it's gonna be done, so it's not like you're gonna get a cheaper deal on
Yeah, that's true.
because the engineering's already gonna be done. He said, I talked with him yesterday, and he said that possibly we might have to do 2 tours instead of 1, or we might even have to get something from a landowner, like we did on the bridge, was that Chase? That we had to go to the landowner and get, something signed saying if it backed up on, that was okay.
What, this probably extends with that, but what's our, so we've got all this bridge inspection reports. What's kind of our plan of action to, are there some that we can go through right now and just say, that's exactly what I'm thinking about, and just.
Right now, that's the main plan, and anything that we can replace with a culvert, those are.
And are you going through those, or how are we gonna go through those?
Well, I haven't actually just sat down and
Yeah.
checked those out yet.
I'm just asking, just
Yeah.
because,
Another thing we'll have to look at, there's some stuff coming down the pipe is fracture criticals. Because the inspection on fracture criticals is underway. So, that's something I'm gonna be talking to you in the next couple weeks about.
has the state decided on what they're doing with that?
Yeah, I just got an email, it's yesterday, I really haven't had a lot of time to look at it, but, the state was actually starting, their own inspection program, where you can have the state inspect your bridges for you. But, they sent out an estimate on it, and, right now, the estimate for just fracture critical bridges, is, for us, was $99,000 every 2 years, which is high. Last time we had our fracture critical inspector, it was like 30,000.
Yeah. Why would we go with the state?
That's why I talked to Schwab Eaton yesterday, and he thinks he's almost positive he can beat the state's bid.
We what would it take to replace one of the Husker Steel Bridge every year?
Well, you'd be looking at $160,000, $170,000, depending on the typical 50-foot bridge. So we're really gonna have to look at fracture critical bridges coming up.
How many we have? How many we have?
We were right at 30, but we pared down about 5 of them by the end of the summer, so.
I was reading an article, and it was in NACO a couple of months ago, and they were talking about some counties, one was like up in Iowa, and they had gone to like 1 maybe 2, 3 tops of like, they had like these types of bridges like engineered. And that's all they were like doing, they weren't jumping back and forth. I don't know if there's something that we can do that would, it sounded like they saved a ton of money on engineering costs to do that. Now you'd have,
That's basically what we're doing with Husker Steel,
Okay.
because, you know, they're not really charging us engineering to size the bridges, and they're selling us the steel.
yeah.
And that's why they're such a good deal right now, because it doesn't cost anything for engineering. I guess the reason I'm bringing up these 2 bridges, is because, I think we kind of made a commitment to Mr. Bell to pursue this, and this is where we're at right now.
We did make no promises, because we won't have 2 other people come up and want their 16-foot bridges widened for the combine and stuff too.
That's what I was saying, trying to get proactive with some of the inspections and see. what
That
we
goes
can-
back to my comment earlier about, do we have a criteria or?
Some of those parts are critical that we're gonna maybe have to cross this bridge too, but how many of them need to stay open?
Well, we're gonna have to take a hard look at some of the,
Well, I'm being serious, I'm trying to be
That's what I
realistic.
was gonna ask you.
we'll have to,
cross that bridge.
I'll bring the list up, and we'll have to probably pick out a few of the bridges that are very high.
Volume travel,
Yeah, no, I can see,
low sufficiency rating.
Well, we'll have to pick out some of the ones that are costing us a lot of money on these dirt roads. We'll try to go look at them, and we'll have to decide what we want to do. In the next few years, I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of counties closing some bridges. It's coming. I know Brown County, they've already started the process. And I guess we have to, because we're gonna be closing one.
well, it gets to be a juggling act, it's, your traffic volume per day, who's using it, it all comes in. I mean, it's nice to have $170,000 bridge replaced everywhere, but if you're not.
Well,
And we've got certain bridges
if the
that,
state would keep up this other program, that'd help us a little bit.
I talked to,
It doesn't go by the way.
Dave yesterday about that, and he said you've been in touch with the state, and it doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
This is a one-year deal.
So, the local bridge program,
Yeah.
they don't have the money to do it.
Well, the governor's taking a bunch of money out of it.
I guess it's not what it is for that.
Unless we got 1 year.
You got one?
Well,
And yours,
yeah,
two bridges.
if it ever comes about, I think it happened to work out, not necessarily because it's in my territory, but he was able to close a bridge and yet replace a bridge in the same township and within 3 or 4 miles of each other. Boy, that kind of lightens the load, and actually the bridge you're closing affects the new bridge, and is gonna affect the guy that can use it, but it also, the one you're gonna close is gonna affect him, so it's kind of a win-lose situation.
The ones that I have a hard trouble with are these, there's 3 or 4 in the county that are basically field entrances. So we have a bridge that needs to be replaced that is servicing 1 to 2 people. But supposedly that's their only way in, which some of them, I think they could get around if they had to, but those are the ones that I have trouble building a new bridge for 1 or 2 people. When possibly they could go across some acreage to get to that land that they had to. But I'll do a little more work on that, on the bridges, and I'll have a little more information. I just got that thing from the state yesterday, but I'll put some stuff together. Do you just wanna hold off on this for now, or do you wanna?
We have to probably have a hydrology done on it, let's see, probably go ahead with it.
Why don't you
That's good.
look up those, you know what the sufficiency rating of those bridges are and stuff.
Yeah, I can find out.
Let's,
And I can tell you right now, I don't know.
I'd like to do it, but the same token, if we find out that they're not that bad, and there's 10 other ones,
Yeah.
then you're going to get way too.
No, I don't think
Should
so.
have probably both three.
Yeah, I think that's very good what you said about the same township. If you close one bill, one of that makes it go smooth out.
The sufficiency rating on one of them is 34 and the other one is 31. One of them was built in 1938, one of them in 1928. So they're pretty low sufficiency rating.
They're not fracture critical?
They're not fracture critical.
They could get a big combine fell through.
Yeah, both of them, one is a all wooden structure, and the other one, has metal, stringers in half of the bridge, and then half of the bridge has wooden stringers, and it's got wooden piling. And actually, we were in there yesterday, and we noticed that some of the wooden piling were getting some rot to them. So they're definitely down on the sufficiency rating list.
Yeah, I think another thing to probably keep in mind, not to make it too complicated, but is to keep track of, what townships you're working, let's don't just, if not, you're gonna have something done at Grasshopper, now you're gonna have.
And we're pretty good about,
Yes.
we're pretty good about mixing that up.
Yeah.
I try to do that.
I think that's only fair. And, you got the people living around there in Benton, we're doing that road, so they should be just about everybody I talk to just tickle pink with that, they can't wait to get the second half done.
Speaking of roads, Bruce Will asked me, there used to be some school bus signs out there on 266, wasn't it? Isn't that 266 down there? And
The
now
one we
that-
fixed?
Yeah, the one we fixed, and now they're gone, and he wants some bus signs put back up.
Okay, do you have any idea where?
I have no idea. He
So
said there used to be two, now there's none. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
He asked me to ask you.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. I'm not aware of it. There's-
So you may, so I just give him a call and tell him I told you or asked you.
No, that's fine.
Do you want to discuss, water bridge down there?
Yeah, a little bit,
Is that it?
I guess before we go there, we never really made a clear cut decision on.
Oh, I thought you made a motion to do it.
Do I make
Oh.
to do hydrology test instead of?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to do the hydraulic test. And hopefully we can get it fixed before the water test is.
Do you have a bridge number, so you can put that in, bridge numbers on there?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, should be okay.
It's 22.3-P.9.
P.9?
I'm sorry, it's 22.3-P.6 and 22.3-P3.
Okay. Pawnee, right?
What's that?
Pawnee,
Pawnee.
up in Shannon?
It's Pawnee south of 334th Road.
And this is Wabaton?
Yes.
$3,500 each, right?
$3,500 each.
I second it.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
We had him put the bridge number on.
Also, I talked with, Bruce Lowe from Mount Pleasant Township. The county had a low water crossing down off of Ottawa Road, just north of 230th Road. It's basically a driveway, but it's actually a township road. Years ago, the county had a low water crossing at this, site, and the township was getting complaints, so they decided to go ahead and put a 48-inch culvert in the place of the low water crossing. That didn't work. A few years after that, they put another 48-inch culvert in the same location, and it's still not adequate to handle the flow of water. It requires bigger than a 25-foot square culvert, so by state statute, it is our responsibility to take over the culvert. It drains 365 acres, so a 6-foot culvert will be adequate for 375 acres, so, they're requesting us take over the culvert and replace the 2 existing culverts with one bigger culvert.
Are they gonna take the culverts back, or did you get it?
You know, I don't know, I was wondering about that the other day. They're pretty nice culverts, they're plastic is the only drawback to them, but, I guess that would be something we would have to work out with the township. To be honest with you, I don't like plastic culverts. I really, we might be able to find a place to use them, but I really don't like them.
We approach it like this, Mr. Long, we'll put you in one big one, we'll take your 2 of them.
That's the way I would approach it, because
Start as soon as
there, you know, we could probably find a field entrance or something, we can always use culverts.
Yeah, but that would be good enough for field interest or entrance, or,
Yeah.
gosh, if somebody wanted it into their home, you know, stuff, you could even sell it to somebody or whatever. But, I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying, plastic is, it may last a long time, but I mean, unless you have.
when you tear them out, this subject might be mute, it might be roofed.
Right. Well, I mean, they're, yeah, we'll be careful with them, we'll try everything in our power to save them, and I think we can. I don't know how much riprap or anything they put around them, but one end of them is concrete in, but I think we can get it broke out around. I haven't, priced the culvert yet. I'll get a PO together and bring back up to you. So, we'll probably look at, it's probably gonna be probably $5,000 or $6,000 culvert.
About typical.
Yeah, because even if you say put a 7-footer in, well, I mean, an 8-footer was 5,300 or 5,400 when you did that Chase Road, so.
I guess that's all I have on that. Yeah, actually, the list of things.
You got me. I thought I was gonna have to make a list of things to remember to do. Oh, wow.
I better know what, so.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up to you, which Dave Beach actually brought this up to me yesterday, for we did the 3R grant for 262 last year. The application for 2016 is actually coming up, and he suggested that we turn in a grant to replace all of our road signs on all of our, federal aid routes, which would be about half of the routes in the county.
How do they term federal aid routes?
The state does that. I don't have the map with me. It's basically all the blacktop roads would be a
Okay.
FAS route, and then some of the rock roads would be. But the thing is, with the high-risk rural roads grant, signage is covered 100% for the grant. So all it would cost us to get new signs on all of our roads, would be the engineering study. And he hasn't, I told him the first thing I was gonna be asked is how much is that study gonna cost? And he is working on it. But I wanted to run by the commissioners real quick, just to make sure to see something they'd be interested in, which looks like a no-brainer to me, but.
You applied to that safety grant on the parallel to that, is that program gonna be in place again, or?
I was planning on turning it again this year, but I'd also like to turn it into this other signage program, because a lot of the laws have changed on signage, and this would be a way for us to get a big kickstart on that program. And take care of.
In other words, what you're saying is.
We'd have an inventory of all these signs, we'd know what we had, everything would be new, and it'd be paid 100%. So,
Better take advantage of that.
that's what I think, because I think some of the stuff's gonna be going away before too long.
Yeah, some of them 100% pieces could, yeah, that road safety thing, that's probably a pretty good deal too, even if you have to wait a year. I guess the one thing that I was under the impression that they did that road, they was going to put marks, white strips.
Right.
And
Be for the first year.
for the first year.
Yeah.
That's something probably that we need to be talking to other counties and the state. We need to find out if there's, because I know I keep hearing people talk about the.
I talked to Leavenworth County about striping. Jeff actually requested it, maybe a couple weeks ago about striping.
Oh, yeah, just heard a lot of people.
It's about $2,000 a mile is what it costs. But,
Is that outsourcing it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's outsourcing it. And, Leavenworth County, they don't use the high dollar, striping, they just use paint, and they redo them every year. So, it'd be about $2,000 per mile per year.
And how many is that just the boundary?
The middle stripe and the white lines.
No, so you'd have to have passing lane?
Yeah, and, Livermore County said that, the company they deal with, you don't have to get an engineering study to do that, they'll do that. Well, that's included in the $2,000 per mile. So,
Well, and the only thing I would say, I think that's all good, but if you start.
if you start, you're gonna have to continue.
And
What would a machine cost?
Machine, I haven't looked into pricing on it, I'm not sure.
Well, that'd probably be something you definitely wanna maybe pull to their counties.
But I know it must be very high dollar, because even like
Yeah.
kind of like Leavenworth, they're outsourcing it. Yeah, they
It's a
outsource.
specialized piece of equipment, I think, is what.
Yeah, they've got a guy from, I believe he's up in, Nebraska, comes down and does theirs.
I'm sure the state probably has a big list too.
Yeah, through the state, they outsource it too.
But we just talked to your meeting, once you start one, everybody's going on.
Yeah. I think ours, because ours just been safety, especially at night or weather, I think that's what the concern is.
We do them every year. I would do it back in chip and seal.
What's Jefferson County doing? Because they're not doing their stuff every year, they got, whatever they're spraying is lasting for a while.
I'm not sure, I could talk with them, see.
You might see what they're doing, because I know they aren't doing each one of those roads like every year. I'm just thinking,
I think Lower County, I think,
Wise Road offhand and, what's Edwards turned into? Effingham Road.
Yeah.
Those two I don't think are being striped every year, and those have been striped for a while.
I think Lower County said they're spending, I think it was $200,000 a year on striping,
Okay.
pretty big number.
Well, don't we have those that are, we got.
We had 114, that was before Highway 74, so, you know, we're 116, 17.
Yeah, that's it, that's and all that, plus manpower, plus we should outsource stuff.
I know on some of those chip and seal roads, you get rain, certain kind of lighting, it's tough to see. It's very tough to see into the road.
So on the sign replacement program, I guess I probably have your blessing to go ahead and pursue that.
Which one? Oh.
To get our signs replaced on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna hurt us checking, I mean, yeah.
Engineering being valuable.
He'll give me an estimate, and I'll come back up with an estimate of what it's gonna cost him to do the, I just wanna run it by you to make sure that somebody really isn't off the line on that.
Yeah, and if you want you to go, let's go back or so.
But when I get an estimate from, Schwab Eaton on what it'll cost to do the, turn in the application and do a little study for us, I'll get that. I don't think it's gonna be a real big number.
He's really doing pretty good to work with so far, I think.
Yeah, that's one good thing about having a good engineer, is he brought that up to me, he suggested that to me. And sometimes those guys, you know, they're dealing with more than one county, so they'll clue you in on things that are going on that you don't necessarily know about. So. I think I hit the high spots. I'll bring up, I talked to you real briefly, I'll bring you up to speed, the bridge of US 159 and Chase Road that we rehabbed. I'm hoping to have it open Friday. All we have to do is put the guardrail up and, bring the grade up to the top of the concrete. Plan on probably opening it up Friday afternoon. Let's see, 238th, between Ellsworth and Graham, the Combine Bridge. They put the stringers in it yesterday, they put the floor on today. It will either be open by end of business today, or it'll be open tomorrow. The bridge at 230th and McPherson, the Husker Steel Bridge, we have a couple nice days. I'm hoping to get down there and start backfilling it Thursday or Friday. There is a chance for rain Monday. I'm hoping we get some backfill in there before Monday, so.
You said the Chase one was Chase and 259.
159.
159 inches.
Mile east from school.
So hopefully we can get some of that backfilled by the end of the week and beat the rain, and if so, it'll be open, as soon as we can get it backfilled, so. Let's just bring it up to speed a little bit on that.
Good.
So. Things are starting to fall in place.
Hopefully weather cooperates, it's kinda hard when stuff doesn't, it froze, it unfreezes, it rains, it snows, everybody snows bad, and thaws out again, so, kinda tough. Guess it's good for our salt budget.
Yeah, we've done pretty good this year. We used a little bit of salt on this last storm, but we're still good. I will get with you, Pat, on those specs and get that with you and stay in touch on.
Yeah, let's get that to them.
If I have to talk to her, she's right behind me now. I'm about to check.
We need to, pay for a piece of equipment that we're gonna get a lease purchase through the bank. But I have to have a check when they deliver the piece of equipment. Depending on how soon we get the paperwork done with Pat and the bank, how soon can you cut a how much, notice do you have to cut us a check?
She
She
I know
should
this-
be able to do it honestly at any time. It's,
Okay.
it'd have to be in its own batch, but, during a payroll week, we cut checks on Thursdays, Fridays, for other payroll stuff, so it could go in.
Well, no, it used to be like when you cut a manual check, it was supposed to be on a Tuesday during, day of a commission meeting, I didn't know. That was still.
Yeah, well, yeah, 'cause you guys will have to sign off on it, if it's a big one.
They're assigned PO,
Okay,
so.
well then that should be fine, right?
Yeah, it's just a matter of, we've got to set up an account, I mean, we gotta get the loan and then put it in an account, put it into a new line item account, because it's a separate deal.
So it's something that can be done really quick.
We're using it with lease purchase funds, so we had 3 bids on lease purchase, we're purchasing a road grader and a dump truck.
Okay.
So interest rates are very good.
What was the interest rate?
2.4
2.4.
on a 5-year lease purchase.
Good.
Yeah, that's lower
The
than,
equipment will go up faster than that.
that's lower than, Deere's financing was, 2.8 and, Daimler Chrysler was, I believe it was right at 3, so.
It's always good to get a check, especially like when you got local, lending institutions that see that stuff. So when it goes out, banks receive letters when lease purchases go out.
From 2.4 to 3.89.
I feel more comfortable with those just because it's a good use of, I think it's a good use of funds.
It was a drinkmy.org, so.
She goes to Exchange?
Yeah. She's worked there for almost 4 years now. She she goes to college at BC and then she, in the afternoons, she was working out mainly at the bank day at Walmart, but she's mainly at Cash Saver now in the evenings, and then on the weekends. She jumps around a little bit, but every once in a while we catch her out at the ground and, so. All right, thank you. Nice working with you, Mike. Thanks for all the help. I know you will. Don't be a...
Thanks for all the work you did out there, too.
I'm not gonna take you
Received that.
that very often.
Did you get one too?
Yeah, yeah, if you got the original, I have a copy of it.
Okay.
So feel free to call me, no problem, though.
I'll try to be a good field person for our county.
Well, at least you know the, obstacles we face, so maybe you can help some people understand that.
Exactly, that's my whole thing out there. Once you get in, this one will go in on how cold or how hot it is. That makes sense, Jamie.
Stay in touch with that. I'll get you out here.
Now, if you're gonna celebrate tonight, bring it home.
Okay. I doubt I'll be that crazy, but
Okay.
mine with Dr. Pepper for supper.
Get you some coffee up,
Or piece of cake.
piece of cake. Have I got your brand of pop, is it gone?
No, Dr. Pepper's what I drink.
Doesn't even drink.
The punch is pretty good too.
Punch is very good. I'm gonna take a nice punch for it.
That's your own private recipe.
No, it's not.
All right, well, yeah. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Bill, Mark, I'm going to Wisconsin, they're bringing home some cheese. I'm going to get some cheese.
I know it. Don't bring me back unless you're gonna get to take the money. You hear that? Don't bring me back until I'm gonna take the money.
Take what money?
The money that you pay up there, that I'm gonna pay you for bringing some cheese.
Let's see who wins that.
Well, then, I'm telling you. I got my attorney here to tell what.
If you can sit there, because that's what you agree, if you can sit there and I can hand it to everybody else in the room, and you won't take it.
I tried to send that email again, did you get it?
No.
I think I sent it to your other email this time, I think the first time I did the Aspen County one.
Really like this.
There's the.
Oh, it's easy.
I did get it, thank you.
Did you see that come up okay, your email, your direct deposit? He asked me about direct deposit, and said, well, do you have your email set up, so we got it.
Oh, good.
We got it going, so. You could receive yours too. I'm gonna get mine, I got today, I think.
I told,
Yeah, it should have a little bit more.
I told Eric I want to keep you to his death confirmation to get down there and talk to Jamie, get the preliminary work done, and then when he officially gets sworn in, and then he could kick in.
Do you have like,
Be sure you remind me if there's sick, to keep his other insurance, it would be a 60-day wait, so
Okay.
I forgot to tell him last month, so.
you talked about like when somebody, like a new employee comes in, did you develop like a package or a folder, you mentioned.
It's all just on a computer right now,
Okay.
I'm missing out electronically department heads, but I redid a lot of the forms
Good,
that needed cleaned up,
okay.
or fax copies and scanned in and then up there.
Gee, all right.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, I thought it was,
And I looked over there, Jamie looked over there, what's wrong?
I heard a complaint.
I was muttering under my breath,
I
but
thought I heard a complaint.
not about this, about an email I got. Isaac has basketball game 4,
I think we're-
3, hopefully.
So you're excused.
Do we want,
Yeah.
Or did that one?
do you want to do a 5?
Yeah.
Get an explanation on that for 5 minutes?
I think,
Here, or
Do we need to have any explanation on that? Or maybe just.
do we need to discuss any of this?
no.
I think it is something to figure out, I mean, is it all?
I'm asking for the one.
He did call Jeff.
Wes said he did. I think it's just a credit,
For
big
sure,
massive
maybe.
credit to our.
Not our brother.
That's what I
No, it's all under like 18.
Could it be somebody, Charles, could you notify and have them print me off, redo Effingham, or buy a pickup and buy the Devon for Effingham, I don't have a new cover sheet for Effingham, because I'm not going.
It should be 2015.
It should be 20, yeah, that's what they changed
Yeah.
it to be. And it just needs to be the cover page, that's all you really need. I need 2 copies of that.
Can we have a 1 minute executive session?
1 minute?
Would I can tell you something?
Can you do it 2 minutes, because by the time I get to the door and come back, it'll be 1 minute, okay.
We can.
Executive session on what?
No, we-
I don't
we
know.
can adjourn. Are we adjourning after this?
We do that transfer.
Oh, yeah, we do need to do transfer after that.
Oh, I think you need me to wait.
What do you need to go right now?
Well, we gotta do 1 minute executive, right?
Yeah.
So he has
Well-
3.
Not yet.
From what Wes printed off, it looks like our ending balance will be 201,000, and, they had slated the old budget, we were supposed to have all that highway money transferred over. We won't need to transfer, it looks to me like we transferred 100,000 from the miscellaneous capital outlay fund. That would put us a little over where our 2015 budget was, which is at 245,000, that'd give you about $50,000 to play with as far as that goes, if that's agreeable with you guys. That's the only transfer, that'd be the last transfer that we'll have to make.
Okay, that makes sense.
Is it budget and cash, or just the cash?
What do you mean?
Is this on 2014?
14, yeah, this is to finish it out, so.
Okay, I mean, is there budget in there too to transfer this money?
Well, it was supposed to have been over there.
Oh.
These are transfers that have been authorized, the amounts that transfer into it have been authorized, so
Melanie said.
we haven't
Yeah,
executed.
she said that we could do that.
Oh, okay, that's when she told you.
Yeah,
okay.
she said we could transfer from capital outlay, you could transfer that money back and forth, because it was a non-budgeted item and stuff as needed, so. So it comes out of the capital, there's a miscellaneous,
Okay.
yeah, there's a capital outlay, in the county general capital outlay, there's a miscellaneous fund that should have $180-some thousand or something in it. And Brett said, once we clear out this should clear up the 14 budget, then he's got the new figures. Because somehow when the money got moved into capital outlay, it didn't get moved in there right. Anyway, there were a couple departments that asked, or that had some budgeted for like a computer, one for a car, and Wes says he's gonna be a little short on his siren money, and I think we just need to stick with the policy, because we didn't have to use the capital outlay money, those dollar amounts will hurt us if we just pull that money out of the capital, because we're just gonna pull it out of this fund anyway, you know. So you can just, like Lampy needs $15,000 for his car for this year, he's already got 10 in this year's budget. Wes thought he'd need maybe 10 or 12,000 to finish the sirens and maybe do injectors on his truck. With that in mind, that's only $30,000-$40,000 at most, so.
Was that an emergency responder truck? Is that what that was?
So he wanted, he will probably become, he said probably, he'll probably ask again to replace it unless, if he doesn't do the injectors, he may try to replace the truck, otherwise,
Okay.
if he has to replace the injectors before, he'll probably fix it up and use it another year or two and then move on. So I would move that we'd authorize, transfer $100,000 from capital general outlay, miscellaneous fund into the 2014 budget to close it out.
Is there a second?
That's it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So Pauline, you'll send notice to Sheila of those transfers?
Okay, so it's just 100,000? She's not here this week, so,
Oh, she's gone. Okay.
so it's next week, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather give it to her so that she knows.
I think she's the one responsible, I think you're exactly right. I mean, just as long as it gets transferred properly,
I mean,
so that,
I'll put a note on her desk.
Yeah.
Usually I give her the minute where it says.
I mean,
Okay.
until Melanie starts, until she starts, I mean, as long as it's done
I
prior.
haven't heard anything from Melanie.
I thought she's really started here in March.
My thought was, yeah, she can start now.
Usually she sends a email that everything she wants, but I haven't even seen that yet.
Haven't heard that, talk to her, turn.
Okay, close.
And you wrote a game letter to Patsy.
But he can't find it, he's gonna email her and have her resend it, and you guys.
Yeah, I emailed her.
So you guys can act on that.
Unless Rochelle held on to it, I didn't find it in the packet of everything I turned over to them to do the budget, I didn't see it in there, so.
Maybe.
I couldn't remember if I couldn't find it.
To do the budget for this coming year?
2015.
Well, we've already paid.
16, sorry, 2016.
We did, yeah, it'll be from 2006, in fact, I think, wasn't she gonna do a 3-year maybe, possibly?
Possibly, yeah.
Did Sharon send you a copy of their interlocal agreement on the sales tax? Okay, I'll take care of it. I know they signed it, but they didn't send it to me, so.
And, this doesn't have to be done today. This is from, Caitlin Smith from Kansas Housing Group. It's just a proclamation they were asking about for April from the government. You still got
What is it?
all of March that you can think about it.
Oh, celebrating 47 years in their house.
Yeah, and I didn't, I left this one blank, because I didn't know if you wanted to do it now, or you wanted to wait. So, it's something you can look it over. They emailed it to me.
that's our obligation, I mean, we planned on kind of doing it and stuff, so.
Mhm.
It's just something that you gotta figure in the budget, I mean, when you go, so. That's something that I would stand behind, you know, whether I'm here, gone, or whatever, I mean, it's, if, I'm a little disappointed the buyback is dropping a little bit, and the other price is going up, I think we need to watch that a little bit too. And,
I think we need to attend that great bottom personally, because I've been looking at Tractor House to see kind of, if I knew this was coming up, and there's easily 10,000 in there easily.
I was surprised that Caterpillar did not bid it.
Me too.
I think that looks pretty good,
so
personally.
it doesn't, but I kind of got the impression, you know, there are 14 models, went up over 7%, and now for the bigger 15 model, we've got another 7%, that puts them up there about $260,000, 255, something like that. So, I mean, they wouldn't, and there's probably a lot of truth in what Murphy said, is that you got, I mean, when Volvo's now not gonna make their equipment, I mean, in the United States, the parts are gonna come from China, I mean, that's a deciding factor to me.
Okay, then let me ask you this. Who is no more going to get bid because we're going to your territory?
They won't bid out there.
Yeah, they're like all over the state. Yeah, it looks like it was about, decreased 8% on the minimum guaranteed buyback, 65% versus 73% last time. Those aren't minimums. I've heard, talking with other counties, they said typically those are, it's higher than that, using the ones that have been in it for a while. Have said typically the buyback's a little bit higher than what they guarantee.
Well, the thing you may have taken into consideration, I mean, if your crews scraped them up a little, you know, had a few things here and there and stuff, why, that protects them. But if they're tip-top shape, you may get another 8,000 to 10,000 out of them, so, I mean, that's, they gotta protect themselves a little bit. But Eric, I did get curious about this buyback, and he thought that kind of was like a no-brainer. I said, I know how conscientious you are, Mike. I said, the initial buy-in is gonna cost you something.
I think it makes you fun. You know, you're not looking next week, next month, you're looking at 3 to 5 years.
Mhm.
At least. That's always good.
Well, the one thing I just mentioned to Eric is that I said, we don't have a plan in place, but we probably ought to make sure Matt's got something in place with towns. I mean, we're down to 4 graders and 4 patrols, so we don't have anything backup. I mean, if you had a grader that went down in a crucial time, you need to have some kind of interlocal agreement or something with a township that you could borrow their grader for a day or two, have that pre-worked out, see, because the county loans, or the county will do bulldozer work for townships. And I remember when I first came on, Matt was only charging $40 an hour. So when he did his figuring, by the time he paid the man and just the fuel alone, he had $40 an hour in that. Well, that's, I said, you need to be charging at least 60, if not more, because at that time, those guys were getting 90 to 100. I said, you're undercutting, I mean, not that they do a lot of business, I mean, I know you want to work for the township, but you better cover your own costs, for someday that goes over to the shop. And you don't have money to buy anything, so anyway.
Well, definitely not gonna be the same without you here, so I'd like to congratulate you on your job and thank you once again for all your help. It's gonna be different here.
It's been my pleasure. I've enjoyed the good and the bad. Well, you know, if you guys think next Tuesday that there's something else that needs to be, I'm officially on the clock till March the 1st. I you won't be starting that out. No, but I'm just saying, that you may have some item come up that, you know, three commissioner input and stuff. I mean, you never know.
We're gonna choose if we get something, we need something to open.
I hear it by the time I say that, I'm probably flying somewhere and I cancel the flight and then screw up my plans. I mean, if no longer, I'm going to be anyway. So. Pretty big numbers.
Yeah, I'm trying to calculate the interest and on the, just the road grader, I'm trying to break it out. I think it's 89,660. So over 5 years. So over 5 years, this is with interest, because Pat said calculate interest into it. That road grader is gonna cost us 89,664. Divided by 5.
Yes.
It's about 18,000 a year.
It's like 2.4 acres. You know, we didn't have to work.
Well, there's no penalties for prepayment, that was.
Well, at that lower rate, I'd be interested in 5 years.
I mean, I wouldn't, at that lower rate, you better just.
That's a pretty good.
Oh, heck, to me, anything under 3% is pretty good on something.
I think the only thing we'd have outside would be fuel, because isn't like maintenance, make like the oil and all that, isn't that on them?
We put
Yeah.
oil in it and,
Well, I think that's part of the
I think they do
thing.
the oil changes.
Yeah, I think
we
they,
got full oil for us.
anything outside of normal maintenance, fuel, it's pretty good.
Thank you for getting the cake and punch.
Yes, thank you, Pauline, and Bill, thank you
Are you
for
gonna
that.
take some like, cause there's half cake left?
Yeah, he'll take it.
No, just spread it around there for us.
Or do you want the nuts and the M&Ms? You might need those in your training.
It'd be a heck of a trail mix right there.
Or we can go with them.
I love trail mix, my kids use that.
Future people can use it.
She's still talking. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Might get a little more punch from you.
Take all at once.
It's pretty punch.
Give me a little bit, please.
Yeah.
Here, I got a cup.
You got a cup?
You want any more
What's
cake?
that?
You want to take any cake
No,
home?
no,
You want to take a cake home for your wife?
No,
Yeah, you
that's
should.
not on the diet, she won't eat it, so thank you, well, you can take it home,
No, I mean,
take it
I'm
downstairs.
gonna take the treasurer's office downtown, or the court downtown, so.
You wanna take that pop and put it someplace in the break room, or you want it, or?
I can just put it in the,
I don't wanna carry nothing out but my cane. Thank you.
you wanna leave your plate up here?
Those weren't mine, those were Pat's, I believe.
Oh, those are
And
Pat's.
then the pizza I brought some.
This is Pat's?
Yeah, because my bag, I ain't took them home, because I didn't, just in case you didn't show up, I had plates and napkins and stuff,
I'll leave those there for you, Pat.
My favorites are like peanut M&Ms, those are towns, too addictive.
That's Papa's potty training treat.
What, and peanuts or plain?
Plain.
I was bad the other day, she started to freak. Trouble is, Papa gets in, the grandma gets in, Gigi gets in, Mommy, Dad get in.
Oh, shoot, Bob Hall. What's I got his number? You have his number? You have Bob Hall's number?
Who?
Bob Holland, he calls from Monmouth County.
Nope.
Do you know if he left a number on back out, or?
Make sure they're not beating you today.
Emily was the one that took it, so I,
Must have been his,
you think
must
she
have
would
been
have
his
gotten that.
personal.
Let me see if I can look him up on the website.
That's when you were at phone, that dear.
Where? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went to, it's kind of neat Saturday, from the land of Kansas, came in, was doing a regional training in northeast Kansas. It was for, like, farmers markets and ag tourism and stuff, and so they had Stacy Mayo, she's a director. I was surprised she came into town, but, they were talking about, farmers markets, and Kansas has 3 different laws on 3 different types of liquor. So distilleries cannot give out, they cannot sell or distribute, they can give some small samples of their stuff at farmers markets. Breweries can sell, like a beer, but they can't sell 6-pack. And wine, you can't taste any of it, but you have to buy a whole bottle. So they're talking about trying to get some of the laws to match up a little bit better so people can do. You got that barn down, you know where Twins Barn is down in Leavenworth?
No, I don't think
Highway.
of that one.
It's on Santa Fe Trail. Anyway, you go, it's like about 2 miles outside Leavenworth. If you go on the detour route, they've been having you go. Yeah, big old barn, they have a big old thresher.
Yeah, I see that.
They got 83 weddings booked this year. They said the cheapest event is like $3,000 some.
Because they're doing something to the